Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tidbits on Business and Finance with me. With India's booming stock markets, they touch a new high every day and a string of extremely successful IPOs, particularly in 2020. It is now time for successful startup enterprises which have scaled into big volumes to hit the capital markets and raise money from the public. Any IPO gives an exit to the initial investors. It also helps the company to raise funds and increase the size of the entity. And that is what an IPO by startups is expected to do in the coming years. In the past few years, huge investments have been made in startup enterprises by domestic as well as foreign investors. Hundreds of thousands of crores have gone into enterprises like Oyo, Ola, Zomato, etc. And it cannot be a one-way process. Any investor invests to finally get a profitable exit. If so far startups have been witnessing an inflow of funds, it is time for the investors to also exit to encash their profits and say that it was a profitable experience, it was worth the effort. If you look at it, it's been about a decade of typical tech startups being set up in India. And a decade is long enough for the startup now to be a proven concept, to be a proven idea, and to scale up its business. And all those who have managed to scale up are now due for an IPO, are now due to give an exit to their initial investors. Thus, experts say that calendar year 2021 and 2022 are expected to witness numerous IPOs by startups. All those high profile startups that we know are expected to come up with an IPO, and that includes the likes of Zomato, Policybazaar, Grofers, Delivery, etc. All these startups have had inflow of big foreign funds coming in. They've also had a number of domestic huge funds investing in them. And of course, with their businesses proven, with their volume scaled up, with their size now having grown big, it's time for those investors to encash their investments. The favorite sectors for startup IPOs are edutech, fintech, food tech, and logistics. And all these Zomato, etc., are in those sectors. The fact of the matter is that while startup investments are extremely risky and the chances of failure are far more than chances of success, but investing in a startup can be lucrative. The likes of Microsoft, the likes of Apple, Dell, McDonald's, Ford Motor Company, Uber, Airbnb have all been startups, and the returns that they are giving and will give have been phenomenal for the investors who got into these enterprises at an early stage. Today, let's discuss about startups and the expected IPOs of startups in India in the coming 2 years. So the journey of a typical startup starts as a young company floated by young entrepreneurs, typically engineering graduates or management graduates who have passed out of school and they have some brilliant idea which they think can become a viable large business. They of course start with a shoestring budget for the simple reason all that they have is an idea or a concept. It has not yet been proven, and therefore generally their initial funds come from friends and relatives. The purpose is to prove the idea at the least possible risk of investment, and the investment comes from family and friends. After the idea gets proven, after the idea gets accepted by the market or accepted by the customers, or after the technology that they have developed proves to be a viable one with a commercial value, then of course these enterprises now need funds to get off the mark, to get off the ground. Scale needs to be built up immediately, and scale needs to be built up in order to ensure that growth is fast before competitors catch on. And at this stage then, angel investors and VC funds come in. So while at the start it's friends and relatives or crowdfunding, very soon once the idea is validated, it is VCs and angel funds who jump into the fray. The fact is that it is these bunch of investors, family, friends, VCs and angel funds who take the maximum risk by investing in a startup merely for proving an idea or a concept, or after it is proven and has not yet tasted complete commercial success, now to scale it up. So after the idea gets validated, scale up is important, build up is important so that top line starts escalating at a rapid pace. it is important to now start gaining market share. And that's important because you need to outgun any possible competition or competitor. So now at this stage, investors further jump in. These investors are typically deep pocketed investors who have the capacity to fund losses and ensure that by burning cash, by incurring losses, market share is gained by the startup. Their volumes build up, their businesses build up, and as we say, it prevents any competitor from coming in. After all, once an idea is made public, competition is bound to come in. The purpose of these deep pocketed investors is to ward off competition and start gaining market share, even if it means incurring of losses. Most of such startups thus sit with huge cash balances, even though they may be incurring giant losses. Take the case of Zomato. For the financial year 1920, its turnover went up by 100% to 2,743 crores. But in the same period, its consolidated losses also shot up by 138%. And despite incurring such losses, even today, Zomato is sitting on a cash balance of about $250 million, which is about 3,750 crores. So, these investors jump in to build scale, to grab the market share, establish the domain such that after the competition is out, the startup will now enjoy near monopoly, or it will at least get a healthy profitability. These investors build the top line at the cost of the bottom line, but the purpose is capture the market share and make it a profitable entity. So what generally happens is either the startup gets funded adequately, or if it is extremely profitable, large enterprises gobble up such startups. NetMeds as well as Pepperfry both were taken over by Reliance, and many such cases keep happening. The next thing that happens is if the scale up went through very successfully and profitability came in, then an IPO is the logical mode. And if none of these happen, perhaps the startup fails, it closes down. So generally, a startup is due for an IPO if it reaches a certain level. And what are the levels? The first is it reaches large volumes of business. It has scaled up its operations sizably, and it has also now captured a good amount of the market share. Its top line has shot up, and its days of incurring losses which are funded by the investors, have also gone. The entity with its volume shooting up has also reached a profitable stage. Its bottom line is looking healthy, and the direction of growth, both of sales and profits, is now much better. When it reaches this situation, its valuation is now healthy. Investment bankers say that generally a startup with a valuation exceeding $5 billion justifies an IPO. At that valuation, it is good enough to entice investors. Depending on the valuation, the company then decides whether to list only in India or also abroad. If the valuation is sizable, like we're expecting in the case of Byju's, then the listing of the company on the IPO will be in India as well as abroad on exchanges like Nasdaq or NYSE. That all depends on the size of the valuation. At this stage, when the valuation is good, a large number of investors who initially jumped into the company expect to get an exit at the time of the IPO. And of course, the company expects to get a lot of funds to fund its expected future growth. The company's profile now changes from being a private limited entity to a public limited entity. And in the queue to make an IPO in the coming 2 years are said to be the likes of, as we said, Zomato, Policybazaar, Grofar, Delivery, NetMeds, and many others. The good part is that India is witnessing a situation where startups are reaching scale, where startups are becoming successful, and are thus justifying the faith that big funds and investors repose in them. And that will ensure that in future, funds keep flowing in. The larger picture, according to us, is that it's a good timing. IPOs have been very successful in India in the recent past. With a good timing means the IPO will succeed, investors will put in the money, and the company will get a healthy premium. We saw that happening in the case of Burger King. We saw that happening in the case of Happiest Minds, Root Mobile, Mrs. Bector's IPO, etc. And that is why IPOs of startups should be successful in calendar year 2021 and 2022 also. Further, the next item is that these kind of exits to investors, the initial investors by the IPO, is extremely important. As we said, it has to be a two-way cycle. It cannot be that only investments flow in and investors do not get an exit. And once that happens, you can be sure, apart from domestic investors, large foreign funds will keep chipping money into startups that keep coming in India. The fact is that once the startups of India start making IPOs, and they are from sectors like fintech, food tech, logistics, etc., they will generate public wealth in India. You can expect to see the next round of billions and billionaires in India, which is again extremely good. We will see that the startups which have generated wealth will start sharing it with Indians because they will get a chance to invest in these companies. And that again is good for the entire ecosystem, not just for startups, but for corporates in India. Of course, depending on the quality of the management and the sector it is in, startups are expected to succeed by way of making successful IPOs in the country in calendar year 2021-2022. We would still warn you, be discerning, be discriminating, ensure that you only invest in those startups which seem to be promising and not just because a hype has been created around them. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.
Hello everyone. HW News English is 2 years old now. When we started this venture, we promised ourselves one thing, that news should remain free, because right to know is the right of every Indian. But to keep news free for everyone, we need support from some of you. And thus we have rolled out membership on our YouTube channel HW News English. But mind you, the membership is completely voluntary. The programs that we were doing earlier, that we are doing now, will continue to remain free. First level is a basic level. Here you can be our supporter by paying rupees 199 per month. This membership gives you certain perks and benefits. The perks include unique badges in front of your name, a live show from Mr. Sujit Nair and from Mr. Akhilesh Bhargava per month for our members. You can also vote in some exclusive members-only polls. Now the second level is Super Supporter. Here you can be our Super Supporter by paying rupees 3,999 per month. This membership will include every perk that comes with basic level. Additionally, our super supporters can be a part of a WhatsApp group where we can have discussions and suggestions on various topics. The second perk includes a gift pack with our merchandise. And the third perk is a Google Meet with Mr. Sujit Nair, where you can join the meet and ask your questions to Mr. Nair face to face. Lastly, if you like, we would give a shout out to our super supporters in our programs. So, hope to see you soon with our badges.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.
If you like this video, please share it, and we would love to hear your comments in the comments section down here. Also, please do like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter to get minute-to-minute news updates. For more such shows and videos, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.